Hello and welcome to the Prince William Ice Center, where it's time for George Mason hockey. The Patriots taking on their rivals from in the city, in the District of Columbia, the George Washington Colonials. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by former George Mason hockey player Ryan Peugeot, and really we've got what we think is going to be a good game for you tonight. It was a very good game last night, a 9-7 win by George Mason, the first ever victory over the Colonials. We think it should be another one tonight. Maybe not as high scoring, but probably should be a very fun hockey game to watch. Ryan, I turn to you as a former player, a former defenseman for this George Mason team. And obviously, you got to be excited to see, after a win over a George Washington team that's given the team some trouble in the past, getting a win against those guys last night.
That's a big win for them. We hadn't beat them in the past. It's a confidence booster for the guys. You know, they're playing a D2 team as a D3 club, so hopefully the penalties, they'll keep the penalties to a minimum tonight, get a flow of the game. I think if there's less penalties, GMU will be able to open the ice up and make the game less close like as last night.
We talked about that. We talked about a little bit before our game, that really a matchup that was fraught with penalties, a lot of penalty kill situations, and really that seemed to be a little bit how George Washington got back in the game, a couple of 5-on-3s, and I know you know as a defenseman, Ryan, that really a 5-on-3 almost deadly for you if you're going to go ahead and try and stop that as a team when you're in that disadvantage.
Yeah, a 5-on-4 is hard enough, but a 5-on-3 is almost a guaranteed goal. You got to have your good guys out there to have a chance to kill it, but hopefully tonight it won't get down to a 5-on-3 situation.
If they do have that, obviously I have to play with a little bit of passion. Of course, the passion of this George Mason hockey team, you see it every time they take the ice. Let's hear a little bit more on that passion from the Patriots.
It started, I think it,
passion, energy, passion, electricity, energy, passion, fire, energy. GMU, Mason, hockey. Suit up or shut up.
Close game, and but I know they're going to come out and try to take it back this season.
Now, of course, that'll be later on in February. We'll be bringing that to you right here as our trio of George Mason hockey games will be bringing you. But tonight, the opponent, George Washington, as we told you a little bit earlier in the open, that the Patriots able to get a win over George Washington last night, their first ever win over the Colonials, and obviously that's got to be a huge confidence builder for this George Mason team. As you said, taking on a Division II team, a team that plays maybe the higher ranking opponents, but really Mason showed what they can do in getting that win.
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the game last night. I talked to a couple of the guys and the coaches, and other than the penalties, I mean, they hopped off to a 3-0 lead in the first 5 minutes, and then I guess the penalties started rolling in. George Washington was able to catch up. Hopefully, they can keep the penalties down this game and not enable them to catch back up.
Now, we talked about your background here with this George Mason team, a defenseman, a 2-year player here at Mason. How was the experience of playing here at George Mason for this team? You know, was it a great one for you? Was it something that really you're going to remember finally as you go back in your days?
It was awesome, actually. That was the first season that Coach Hijack was there as a for a full season's like the time. I mean, during that time, he raised a lot of money for the team. He came out with new jerseys, things that we didn't have, you know, and it helps with player confidence. And basically, the team's come a long way under Hijack, and it was a great experience to play for him. He knows what he was talking about. He puts a lot of effort into the team.
And you talked about Coach Hijack a little bit, just how much that you really respect him and how much he kind of puts everything he has into coaching this team, correct?
Yeah, he puts a lot of time into it. He's on the road trips. He's organized buses so we don't have to take personal vehicles. He's here late at night. The practices aren't really at a reasonable time, but we work with what we got. And Coach is doing everything that he can above and beyond his call of duty really for the team.
Now let's take a quick look back at last night's game, a 9-7 win by George Mason over GW. Really a game that started out a 3-0 blitzkrieg for the Patriots, really jumping out quickly, but then George Washington fought back. As Ryan told you a little bit, the penalty is really a key, and maybe a closer call game than Mason expected. Able to use some power play goals. The coach told us before the matchup, really even strength last night. Mason had a 4-1 scoring advantage, so they were able to go ahead and get those points when they're even strength. But credit GW using the penalties and using the power play time to go ahead and get some extra scoring and putting some pucks in the net. Credit though Mason, after going ahead, getting tied up twice in the contest, coming back, scoring in the third quarter, outscoring this GW team and really blowing things open. A late goal by GW, able to go ahead and cut it to 7, but that was cut it to a 2-point deficit, but that was it. They would get no closer, and Mason would end up with the big win last night over their rivals. Played that one down at Arlington and Boston at the Capitals facility. And obviously, got to be a big-time win for them to go ahead. Anytime you get to play at a place where the professionals are playing, it's got to be fun to go ahead and get a win somewhere like that.
Oh yeah, the rink is outstanding too. The ice is great. Obviously, the Caps practice down there, and you know, that's where they hold the state championship. So I mean, it's a great rink, and to get a win over there in their house is pretty big.
And obviously, you can tell that from Coach Hijack tonight that really he was very pleased with what his team was able to go ahead and do. And let's go ahead now and hear more from Coach Hijack about that game last night.
I expect this to be a pretty tough game. We will have played them the night before at their rink. They're a Division II team, so we're playing up one level as a Division III team. We've played them every year. They're a skilled team, a lot of kids from the New York, New Jersey area, where there's a lot of good quality hockey. I expect this to be quite a little dogfight, and quite frankly, it's going to come down to us playing really solid defense.
So thoughts from Coach Hijack there, of course, a very good coaching staff around Coach Hijack. That's one thing I really thought of last night, Ryan, when I came to the contest. Really, GW kind of working with two coaches. George Mason's got a pretty big coaching staff, and seemingly, you know, a lot of guys contributing that way. Can you tell us a little about the staff that Coach Hijack is able to put around him?
Yeah, start with Coach Elder, who works with the defense and the goalies. He's been coaching with Hijack for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, so they know each other real well. Addition we got last year was Morgan Manizza, a former D1 player at Robert Morris University. He works with the forwards. And on special teams is Spencer Wolf. He's a new addition this season and was a real big part of the team last year. He scored the overtime goal against Maryland to move us into the second round of the playoffs. So everybody over there is real knowledgeable about hockey and the players.
And we talked about those players, guys we got to look out for today. Obviously, the top line really had a nice game last night, couple of goals. Justin Tatowski, also Dylan Biasi, and Dylan Talbot, 3 guys that really can play, obviously, as the top line. Tell us a little about what those 3 guys bring to the table.
Justin Tatowski, assistant captain this year, well-deserved. He's a big boy, so you can look for him to throw the body. People try and hit him, it just doesn't really work out in their favor. Dylan Biasi will also hit. He's a little smart with the puck, and he's going to definitely look for Talbot on the outsides with the speed, try to make moves around the defense.
Now, you mentioned speed as well. That's what we see from that second line, especially two guys, Brian Bach and Dan Jordan. Is it the speed game they're bringing to the table? Is there anything else really they've got kind of going for them in their games?
Yeah, definitely. The second line is going to be the speed line tonight. I think Dan Jordan's the fastest guy on the team, in my opinion, followed closely by Brian Bach. Each of them, they should be able to feed off each other real well. Dan Jordan's going to give you a lot of back checking as well as Bach, but the speed should help that line out a lot and give them an upper hand on the opposing team.
Now, real quickly, we'll look at the defensemen as well. Obviously, your expertise, that area there, Nick Baker and Alex Manville. Obviously, two guys that haven't been around the program that long, but guys that you've been around a little bit, and guys that obviously have shown they can play a little bit.
Yeah, Nick Baker played for the Raiders travel team, and Alex Manville came over from the Potomac Patriots. So both of them have a lot of experience. Manville played in the junior team, so he's a big boy. He should be able to knock some guys around tonight as well.
And we'll see, obviously, some of the hits last night, some of the penalties called. That we'll be hoping for to see George Mason to go ahead and maybe be able to go ahead and maybe get a game that's called a little bit looser than last night. And really, that was an issue, kind of a tightly called game that they were not able to go ahead and kind of get into the flow of the game that they wanted. We'll see if they can do that tonight. We'll take a quick break for our national anthem. We'll be right back after this. Before we get to our first puck drop of the night, let's get it down to the third member of our crew, our on-ice reporter, Gabrielle Shirley.
I had a chance to talk with George Mason's head coach, Coach Hijack, before tonight's game, and he was extremely focused on his team's defense. He has 3 new defenders back there, and he wants them to take their time when they're in control of the puck. He feels that if they settle things down and use their time wisely, less turnovers will be committed. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Gabby. And quickly, your starting lineups in this one for George Mason. As we talked about, they'll go with Satkowski, Biasi, and Talbot on their first line. Then and the defense, it'll be Nick Baker and Alex Manville. Tonight in goal, it'll be Dean Mercer. Last night, Keith Fagerquist got the win. Tonight, Mercer will go ahead and start in net for George Washington. The forwards up front, number 6, Nicholas Ryan, number 16, Jonathan Quigg, and number 20, Kevin Rizzo. Defenseman will be Norman Kemble, and number 44, Sean Okita. And in the net, it will be number 37, Dylan Cleary. And we are underway here at the Prince William Ice Center. Jump down behind the net. Mason looking to get it out. And again, early in this contest, GW looking to put on the pressure. Mason able to go ahead and get it past the D. Great shot on net. That'll be vacuumed up by Cleary, and we'll have a face-off in the GW end. Quick pressure on there by GW. You think that's kind of the way they want to go ahead and start this thing?
It looked like a dump and chase, but you saw the quick breakout here over here from Satkowski to Talbot right here on the wing, just like I said, and he just flew right down into the other zone.
Face off one, GW controls the puck. Sir will have it. Again into the Mason end and now down the other way. Down, beating everyone down for the puck will be Bach, showing off that speed we talked about. Back over with the Colonials and they'll take it the other way. Looking for the shot out in front and missed the attempt up in front. Looked like a good scoring chance out in front of the net. Couldn't control the puck. Nietzsche had a chance at it. Now fought in the corner. They'll dig around for it. Bach goes into the corner again. They'll gain control of the puck. And Mason taking it the other way. Long nice pass up into the net. That'll be a face-off. So really, both teams kind of feeling each other out seemingly early in the contest, correct?
Yeah.
So line change out for Mason. Bringing out the whole new troop, same for GW. Taking the face-off. John McFadden for Mason. He'll be opposed in the circle by Matthew DeCenso. He had 2 goals last night for GW, and now check. Do we have a penalty, or they just closed the door? We'll go ahead and a face-off in the Mason end. No score here with 18-13 and rolling in the first period between George Mason and GW. Quickly the other way, overskates the puck. Knocked down, and now taking the other way would be GW, but back to Mason. Quickly into the corner. Good job to keep it in by Powers. And now pass down a long way for GW. They'll take it in. Powers takes it around the net. Mason looking to get back on sides. Nice check there. Quick turnover. Given right back. And Mason dumps it in. Anything you've seen early on here, either what strategy-wise for both teams? Guys maybe seeing a team kind of getting their way a little bit more than the other?
I think both teams are just trying to get it in the zone to get something going right now.
And this one a little bit different than yesterday. Really, our first goal of the game came 30 seconds in, as it'll be Cleary making that save. Last night, a goal again, 20 seconds in. Vanderveen able to go ahead and score. That got us off to that quick start that we had. Mason running out to the 3-0 lead, but then it would be George Washington coming right back and tying things up as they went to the first intermission. Face off in the GW defensive zone. Other way. Mason will get back to it. Chance. Just not finding the stick. Into the corner. And quickly around the boards. Both teams kind of pairing back and forth right here, looking for their opening. A quick dump in. No icing will be called. Loose puck around the boards. And that one will get up into the rafters. And we'll have a face-off. Anything you've seen so far from the Mason defense? Have they looked good to you? Like we talked about, obviously Gabrielle mentioned Coach Hijek wanted to see his guys a little more patient. Have you liked the puck handling so far, guys being patient, or have they been a little bit skittish?
It's been a little skittish so far. People are getting the puck caught in their skates, but I saw some good plays. Coach likes it high off the board, so that's what they're going to try and do if they have nothing else.
Chance. The defensive play knocked away. We'll get it. Able to go ahead and put it home. And Mason jumps out to the 1-0 lead. that breakaway develop to your eyes, Ryan?
That's Dylan Talbot again. I told you he's quick on the wing. That's going to happen a lot of times this season. He came to us as a freshman last year and was runner-up for the BRAC Rookie of the Year. We feel like he should have got it. So you're going to see a lot of goals at him all season.
Had an empty netter last night, really iced things, but that one definitely in real time when it mattered, able to go ahead and put it on. In front. We're going to go ahead and call this one dead. Where we have a penalty.
Assisted by number 20, Alexander Mandeville. Time goal, 4 minutes, 4 seconds. Patriots goal scorer number 14, Dylan Talbot.
Not just a face-off in the Mason end. Shot by everything. Draw iron. Back in front. And that will find the back of the net as George Washington able to score the goal as Max Tahar able to get right out in front of the goal and able to beat Dean Mercer to his right side. And just as quickly as Mason's able to go ahead and take the lead, George Washington comes right back. And it looked like Tahar was able to kind of find a little bit of open space in front of the goal with no one really in front of him, correct?
Yeah, the center's got to be there to pick up the guy in the slot, and when he has all day like that, it's going to happen every time.
Coach Hijek is having some words with the official, maybe just getting a clarification.
He's not happy about that hand pass in the middle. They had it whistled, and then I don't know what happened in the corner, but they ended up waving it off, and possession stayed in the zone, and they scored.
Mason fans starting to get some sound going, trying to rile up their troops as we're back to a tie game. Puck out in front of net, knocked away. As Rodriguez able to go ahead and get it in the corner, now they get it into the across the red line and now back into the defensive zone as GW again on the attack. Speed through the neutral zone. That one deflected by Rodriguez. Shot out in front. That's going to be gloved by Mercer. And we'll have a face-off in the Mason end. That's a nice snatch there by Mercer. Didn't look like it was going into the net. From what you've seen from him, how is his glove?
Mercer?
Yes.
He's looking good so far. That was a big one. As long as he keeps those shots contained, and hopefully the D will be able to help him out if he doesn't let up rebounds.
And Mercer again will cover up. Again, we'll have another face-off in the Mason defensive end. I want to remind you that with locations all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason ice hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location, and as always, play ball, or in this case, play hockey. Got out Flapper, and it's going to be covered by Cleary. Had to go high to go ahead and cover it up against the chest, but able to see that one. You thought maybe there might be a deflection in front, as it looked like on that play, able to get a really good slapper on it, and Baker got some open ice for once.
No deflection, but there is a penalty. So GMU is going to go on the power play here, and I think it's going to be line 2. They should be running the BU. So look from the shot from the point up here.
Penalty will be called. That's going to go on Okita for George Washington. So he'll have 2 minutes in the sin bin, and Mason will look to go ahead with the 5-on-4 advantage. Going to be an interference call on Okita. So again, 2-minute power play, already down 30 seconds in the power play. Now Mason gets in, and good job by GW to clear it out. Ryan, what's the most important thing when you're trying to kill off a penalty?
when you're trying to kill off the penalty, you can't be too over persuasive with the penalty kill. I mean, if you get caught down, then it could turn into a 4-on-3 or 5-on-3 quicker than you want it. So just maintaining your discipline, I'd say. Depending on what the coach has, a box or a diamond formation for the kill, you got to stick to it.
So far, really no good chances for Mason so far with the man advantage. Again, Colonial's able to clear it out, so Mason will have to go ahead and regroup. 43 seconds and counting in the power play.
You got to slow it down, maintain the possession. They'll be all right.
Again, a clear by GW. As Mercer will go ahead and hand it off to Baker. They start maybe one more rush, 26 seconds and going in this power play. As Okita sits in the penalty box. Shot on goal, and Cleary will cover it to his chest. And we'll see the face-off in the GW defensive end. So really, by my count, their first shot on goal in this PK.
Yep.
So the Colonial was able to do that. We talked about last night, really, the issue, or one of the issues for Mason, despite the win, was a couple of 5-on-3s, but really just they gave up goals right afterwards, couldn't kill those off, and let GW go ahead and get back into the game, and it looked like Mason was on the brink of breaking it open. Shot wide of the net, being knocked away, and 4 seconds left. Looks like GW's going to weather the first power play of the game. Shot, that'll be deflected. No, try to stuff it in. Let's stuff it in. Able to find the back of the net.
That could be an even straight goal too. I think that penalty had just expired. He was coming out of the box. That's big to get that in the end of the penalty like that.
Even strength or no even strength, I'm sure Coach Hijack doesn't want to give that one back. He's taking all he can get. So Talbot with 2 goals here in the first period, and with 12-13 left to go in the first, George Mason with the 2-1 lead. Checking the open ice.
Assisted by number 74, Justin Zakowski. Assisted by number 6, Dylan Biazzi.
GW again. Chance, that'll be deflected up and off the net. So good job. You talked about it last time down right when that goal was scored, that guy gets into the slot, no one there. That time looked like someone in his way and not giving a clear look at the net.
Yep. You don't have to block the shot. Even a deflection is enough to get it off net. So.
Throw it on goal, not there. Knock it away. Mason will look to clear. That'd be a good job to keep it in and fight in the corner. Again, scrum over there, trying to get that puck loose. This time it'll be cleared out, and GW will regroup. Loose puck in the neutral zone. Coming up, it'll be Bach. Mason will dump it in. Out in front, Mason couldn't take advantage, so going back, Rodriguez will go ahead and get it. Rodriguez, one of the guys that Coach Hijack told us that started his career off as an inline player and transitioned over to ice hockey. Did a pretty good job of it. Knocked away, and now scoring chance here for Mason. As Biasi with it, they'll look to center it. Good job by GW to go ahead and knock that one away. Though Marshall getting his stick in, and now the other way. And that pass doesn't connect. Dumped in behind the back of the net. Mercer dishes off, and now loose puck. Chance out in front, missed the connection there. The slapper, that'll be knocked down by Sepkowski. And they call him the fridge, and that time able to go ahead and use all his girth to his advantage to get in front of that shot. And blow that one dead. Now, obviously, as a defenseman, I know you put your body in front of a puck or two in your day. How much does that hurt?
Depends. If you get hit in the shin pads, it's good. You can't feel much. But right there in between the shin pad and the top of the tongue of the skate, it'll put you out for a shift.
I want to remind you that Talus Group, a world leader in defense. The Talus Group is setting new standards of excellence in advanced technologies. Find us online at www.talusgroup.com. That's www.talusgroup.com. 2-1 our score. George Mason on top of George Washington. Glad you could join us. 9:40 and rolling here in the first period. Having that knocked around the boards. This puck and coming away with it will be Talbot, already with 2 goals so far in the contest. Talbot almost skates over it. Now long pass back. GW will take the time. That one knocked down. Nice play there by McFadden. And GW will go ahead for the line change. Mason will regather. Errant pass. This may lead to a scoring opportunity. Shot on goal. Centering pass in front. Could not connect. And now going the other way. Mason for a second. GW able to go ahead and get back and get the puck back. Now quickly dumped in the other end. Chasing it down. Now back the other way goes GW. No numbers. Now playing that neutral zone. Neither team kind of able to get those passes through without a stick being got on it by one of the other players. Can't keep it in. That time Tahar keeping Ryan and was looking to keep that in. Now Mason with a scoring chance. Shot, that'll go wide of the goal. Mason trying to keep it in. Grabbed by De Silva, but now gets back over. And Mason again with it. That'll go up, almost hits the net off the glass. He'll stay in play. Now chance of the breakaway. Center in front. That one will find the back of the net. Putting it in, that'll be Teddy O'Reilly. Gets the centering pass from Gitshire, and we're all tied up again. Nice little play there by GW, but again, looked like they kind of caught Little Mason a little bit off guard.
Yeah, someone pinched on the puck, and I think it bounced over a skate or something. That turned out it was an odd man break, and the guy crashed into the net. I think it came off a skate.
Always, that's an issue. Here in hockey, we see so many times, even at the NHL level, guys just whip on a puck or goes over, bounces over your stick, and creates an offensive chance for the other team.
Yeah.
You've got to be a little bit frustrating too sometimes that you could make the right play, just that bounce of the puck trying to turn against you.
Everybody thinks that it's just a piece of rubber, but that thing's frozen solid, and on the ice it'll take the craziest bounces.
Looks like we will have a penalty.
Christopher Perugini, assisted by number 11, Teddy O'Reilly, and number 44, Will Hendricks. Time of goal, 12 minutes, 20 seconds.
This is going to go on Satkowski, so he'll take to the penalty box. And now GW, after tying the game up, has a chance to go ahead and take the lead as they'll go 2 minutes on the power play. Cecil controlling the puck, cycling it around, looking for the slapper. That will find the net. They can hit the post and bounce in, goes over the right shoulder of Mercer, and a quick goal there. Didn't take much time in the power play, just 10 seconds, but able to find that back of the net for GW. I believe that was Tahar on the score. And now GW takes that lead back, so that quickly. We saw a little of that yesterday, some very quick goals. Kind of, what do you do as an upper member of the team, an older guy, when a team does that to you, scores 2 quick goals? Is there anything said, kind of, to keep your head up, or is it just kind of just get back out there and play your game?
I think it's too early in the game to start hanging your head or anything. obviously they're going to want to cut down on the penalties. I think Sikowski's a little frustrated with that call, but hopefully they'll be able to stay out of the box.
Back at even strength. GW controlling the last couple minutes of play with those quick back-to-back goals. Now Mason on the attack trying to get the equalizer. 6:41 and rolling here in the first period. GW on top of George Mason by a 3-2 count. Slapper in front, knocked away, and now Mason has numbers. 3-on-1 break. And look for the give and go, and it gets broken up. That's a tough one, 3-on-1. You think you're going to score on that one, right?
Yeah, that was a good poke by the D-man, though.
The defensive play, and now in on the other end, and they will find the back of the net. What a play there as Tahar scores again. And if my numbers are right, that's a hat trick for him very quickly in the first period. Now we're going to see a change in goal as Fagerquist comes in and Mercer will go out. 6:11 in the first period remaining. That's a quick hook, but not Mercer's night so far. Fagerquist will make the stop. And sometimes, Ryan, it seems like, you know, obviously a team can kind of take it to the goalie, getting a lot of chances, getting loose pucks, but sometimes just seems like it maybe not be a goalie's night. You ever find that in your travels playing the hockey you have?
It does happen, and I don't know, four goals in 15 minutes is not going to do anything for his head, so I don't know. Pulling it might have been the right decision. I don't know, we'll see.
And we talked about last night, despite it being a 9-7 goal, really Fagerquist able to go ahead and outplay Cleary and net for GW. Had a very good game. Most of the scores were scores that really were deserved. No bouncing pucks, not letting plays go through. He was able to go ahead and play pretty well in net and help Mason get that win. So 2-goal advantage for George Washington here in the first period. Another score fest. We saw one last night with a total of 16 goals scored. Getting on that pace right now, actually past that pace with a 4-2 score, GW on top. GW content, be in their own zone, now turn it over in the neutral zone. And Biasi will dump it in as Talbot goes in for it. For the slapper, that'll be patted aside. Another one goes through the goal mouth. Can't get in. Good pressure by Mason. Able to keep it in the zone. That one will hit off a defenseman. GW will look to clear again. That one knocked away again. Mason able to keep it in. Finally, GW able to get it out. Bach with it. Might have it taken away. No, he hangs on to it. Now we'll go ahead and lose it off the stick. And now a 2-on-2. O'Reilly with it, looking to get in again. He'll chip that one. Actually, a piece of it got blocked. Controlling behind the net. Now they'll blow that one dead. I believe another penalty coming on George Mason. That'll be a 2 minutes. 2 minutes on GW. And before we go ahead and figure out what that penalty was, I want to remind you that with locations all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location. And as always, play ball. Ryan, were you able to pick up what that penalty was?
I think they called a technical from. They're about to announce it. Boarding. I think that was a little soft, but they got to be aware that the refs are going to call the penalties like that. They did it last night. They're going to do it again. So
that time, an empty net there As Fairfax wasn't able to go ahead and get the puck, ended up giving up their juicy rebound, but O'Reilly able to stuff it home. Now they'll blow this one dead. And we'll see some line changes here, but still the man advantage, another 91 seconds for GW as they hold a 4-2 lead and looking to make this a commanding 3-goal lead. Of course, we saw last night that really didn't mean anything as Mason jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and before the first period was over, GW was able to go ahead and tie it. So could see some scoring changes quickly, but it would be big for Mason to kill this one. Actually now, we'll kill this one off. Knocking it around. Keep it in. Loose rebound, knocked away by one of the defensemen. And Mason able to get it out of the defensive zone. Tahar, already with 3 goals on the night. Over and slide that one to fly in the back of the net as well. So another power play goal. That one going to be credited to Andrew Cecil, who found some open space and able to slap it home.
GW is moving the puck well in the power play. You can't take anything away from it. It was a good shot. The goalie got beat, but GMU has got to find a way to stay out of the box. They're just killing themselves. They're gonna wear themselves out. You know, it's messing up the lines, and you can't win the game in the box.
Yeah, and Coach Hijack really mentioned that when we talked to him before the game, that that was going to be key for them. They really kind of dodged the bullet last night, as many penalty minutes as they accrued. Tonight, really, GW has gone ahead and made them pay for it. And this one will be stopped around the side of the net. Mason trying to clear. Tried for the stuff attempt. That'll go around the net. No good. And now goalie, I believe, lost his stick. And now the quick switch of sticks there from Begerquist as they'll go ahead and give it back to De Silva. I have another stoppage here. Have you ever been in that situation where you've had to go retrieve the goalie's stick?
A couple times, yeah. Especially when there's no whistle on the initial stop, and you know skaters are coming in. It's easy for a goalie to lose a stick. When you do, you gotta give them one of yours.
And that's exactly what De Silva was able to do there, hand it off, and then once the puck got cleared down into the neutral zone, able to go ahead and retrieve the goalie stick, and then there was a switch there, and actually De Silva tried to go ahead and give him the stick, but by that point, play had started coming back down, so he just had to go without and try and clear the puck with his hand and his feet. 2:15 and rolling here in the first period. GW getting out to a 5-2 lead, scored. Now this will be deflected as Bach looked for the slapper, knocked away. Now GW going the other way with it under 2 minutes. Even strength. Rifle it off the boards, and now some numbers for Mason. Check right in front of the GW bench. Spinning puck. And now again some numbers here. Breakaway, that'll be gloved by Fagerquist as he's able to go ahead and rob Hobart, who was looking to add to that 3-goal advantage. Nice save there.
Wasn't a save. GW is playing well right now. They're looking really confident and they're moving the puck well. So I think GMU is going to have to get on the board here quick.
Face-off one by GW. They'll dump that one in. Loose puck out in front of the net, knocked away for a second. Begerquist tries to cover it up. That one will be, I believe, hit off a defenseman. That one will hit the post, and they'll blow it dead, and no goal as Mason dodged a huge bullet as that one drew iron. Luckily for Mason, it stays out of the goal. Big time scrum in front of the net. Looked like that was, I believe, had 2 good shots for the Colonials in that one. Couldn't poke either one of them home. pass wide on the goal.
Got something.
Down across the blue line into the GW defensive zone. Dumped back in by Biasi. Under a minute to go. GW leading George Mason 5-2. Quickly over into the corner of DeCenzo. Check over our play. Quickly the other way. Dumped in by George Washington. Now quickly over. Looking to check it out there. Not there. And that will be a penalty call. That's going to send DeCenzo to the box. Let's get a quick report from Gabby down on the ice.
George Mason is in a little bit of a slump here at the end of this first period, but the attitude is overall very positive. The players on the bench are yelling to their teammates on the ice to keep their heads up and do not lose energy. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Gabby. So we'll have this power play. Most of it will be in the second period. Let's get a score here. And obviously Mason could use one down by 3. Controlled the blue line by Rodriguez. Dumped in, blocked with a shot on net, not there, out in front. And GW will clear it, and that should do it for our first period here as GW leads 5-2 over George Mason as we've come to the end of our first 20 minutes. Quickly, your thoughts on the first quarter here, first period, excuse me.
How many penalties do we have?
A lot.
3 just on GMU, 3 or 4, and I think George Washington capitalized on all of them. So they got to find a way to stay out the box, and they got to put a goal in here. Hopefully on this power play they can make it happen. You see the hits are picking up. Talbot absolutely destroyed someone in the corner down there, and a couple more hits followed. So hopefully GMU will get some momentum here somehow.
And is that a good way to go ahead and get that done? By going ahead and getting those hits inside, kind of getting some checks on the board, maybe kind of riling everybody up that way.
You need those sometimes because A, it's going to make the opposing team afraid to touch the puck if they know they're going to get hit. B, it's going to rile up the fans, which is going to then rile up the players. So overall, I mean, you don't want to go out and take a penalty, obviously doing it, but if you can make a good hit, you got to take those sometimes.
Now, can that also, a good checking game, slow down a speed game? It looks like we've seen some open ice for the Colonials. They've been able to go and take advantage of that. Is that kind of slow a team's game down? I think you mentioned a little bit the intimidation factor. Is that the way maybe we'll see JMU get back into this?
Yeah, if you can use the angles to slow down the opponent, you don't even really have to hit them. Bump them off the puck, move your stick around, and if you can take the puck off them or make them think that they're going to take a hit if they touch that puck, it'll definitely slow the game down or change the momentum.
And I believe because of the late hour tonight, no intermissions, it looks like they're coming back out here for the second period. Last night they played the game I attended down in Arlington. They played the full intermissions, had the breaks in between. Looks like the guys will be getting ready to get back out there quickly. And obviously with a late start like this, you want to go ahead and get this thing moving, I would think. Obviously, you've had some experience. Have you ever had experience playing a game this late before?
Yeah, we've had some late games before, even later than a 10 o'clock start. 10:30 is not infrequent. The cost of ice during midday is expensive, and everybody here is a college student. Everybody's trying to work and go to school and play, and they just don't have the money to get primetime ice spots. So now it happens, and you get used to it, and that's when the practices are, and your body just, it's like muscle memory playing at this time.
And now, is that the best way to go ahead, just having your practices later in the day to kind of get your body ready for this?
Yeah, that, and some of the students can't get out of class on time, So.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully no sleepwalking through the second period for Mason, as they would love to go ahead and get some quick goals to get back into this. 5-2 our score as George Washington really taking it to George Mason here. I believe 4 straight goals for the Colonials to take a Mason advantage and turn it the other way. Pass to Baker. He's dumped on the ice. Puck taken away and dumped back into the Mason defensive end. Quick look at your lineups. This is the starting 6 that was out there minus the goalie. The start for Mason is Talbot, Biasi, and Satkowski. The first line. Defense, Baker and Mandeville in net. Fagerquist, of course, won the game last night. A shot on goal, that one deflected out front by a defenseman, and play will be blown dead. We mentioned that Fagerquist was the winning goalie last night. Dean Mercer started in net. It's pulled. Now they will go ahead and call this one, and we'll have a stoppage. I want to remind you that with locations all over the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location, and as always, play ball. Mason looking to get some offense. That one played long as Bach tried to get it. This will be an icing, and I'll bring it back into the Mason end. And explain to the viewers at home, the icing rule is a little bit different in our game than we may see in the NHL game with the Capitals, correct? At least by the enforcement of it.
Yeah, it's changed so many times actually. When they changed it again on us last year. It's not an automatic icing, but it is a hybrid. So if the opposing team has a chance at beating it, then they're not going to whistle it.
Okay. And not always needed the touch-up like you see in the NHL, correct?
Right. It's too. I think they do that because people are racing to the puck and the defensemen are taking real harsh hits, so they're looking out for player safety and changing that rule.
And really seeing that at all levels. Watching some college football today, they changed the onside kick rule for safety. You're seeing that, especially the contact sports like football, like hockey, trying to make it a little bit safer for these guys. Gladiators are out here playing, trying to make it a little bit safer because they just play hard, and sometimes those things happen. You want those situations to happen at the least amount as possible. And as you mentioned, that's a play that really you don't need. It's almost, even if a guy on offense is just trying to play clean, sometimes you see a devastating hit on the defenseman.
Yeah.
Nice block there, and let's go ahead and get a quick update from Gabby down on the ice.
Coach Hijack addressed his forwards before the start of this second period. He's encouraging them to stop taking one-shot shots. He wants them to take better shots to create more rebound opportunities. He feels that if they do so, they'll be more successful. His words were, one and done. All they need is one goal to get back in this game. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Gabby, and just piggybacking off that, a little bit, it sounds like Coach Hijack really looking, just throw it on net, let's see what happens, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we did real well last year. I mean, if you shoot it low, you obviously look for the rebounds on the goalies, and he's right with the one and done comment. You saw how the momentum could change. GW put up 3 in a couple minutes, and it can go both ways.
He's checking open ice, knocks Mandeville to the ground. It looks like we will have a whistle, and someone will end up in the penalty box. And I believe this is going to be the star of the game so far for GW, Tahar. He will take a spot in the sin bin. That'll be 2 minutes. A chance for Mason to go ahead and put a hook in the back of the net. Face-off going to be won by Mason. Goes off the stick of Talbot. Shot in front, knocked away. The call will be roughing on Tahar. Mason taking their time, looking for an open shot. Try to go through the slot. That one will be knocked away and all the way down the other end of the ice. Now maybe a shorthanded chance will be knocked away. And really the GW penalty kill is kind of stymieing Mason right now. What have they been able to do in your eyes to see how to kind of really keep Mason from getting any chances?
I don't think it's so much of what they're doing. I think Mason is just they're trying to move the puck at too fast of a pace. And, you know, they rehearse these breakouts, and I've seen them and I've done them, and they know the breakout and they know what they should be doing. They're just not. Like that turnover right there in the corner. They got more time than they think. They got 5 guys, not 4.
We talked about that with Coach a little bit earlier, guys, some of the younger guys and just guys in general trying to play at too fast of a pace. And like you're saying, that's kind of hurting them a little bit today in a situation where it's just to go ahead slow and steady at this point, go ahead and take your time would be beneficial, not be able to go ahead and do that and turning pucks over. Shot on goal, that one knocked away and cleared out by the defenseman. Mason able to keep it in. Out in front, got a chance. And will they call this a goal? They will say no goal. The net gets knocked off the moorings. I believe that's what they'll say. Or was the stop made? Net off the moorings. No line change will be allowed for GW. Now it'll be a conference by the referees. What they be talking about here?
Hijack is not going to be happy because that's an open net, and that goalie came across real hard on that slide. It looked like it wasn't even trying to make a save, because if you take that pipe off its holding spot, they'll blow it dead every time. And if goalies know that.
Now, if it's done on purpose, what is the play then?
It's hard to prove, but I mean, there is a call for it. It's delay of game. They'll probably give him a warning.
But like you said, a play like that where he's diving anyway, you're almost never going to call that, correct?
Right. I mean, because the puck was at such an angle, he would have had to make a drastic change in body position anyways.
So one of the referees talking to Jonathan Quigg, the assistant captain for the Colonial. He'll take the face-off against Bach. It'll get out of the defensive zone, and Mason will have to regroup. Chipped in by Quigg. And Mason will have to reset with the Silva starting things off. Now Bach with it. Take it into open ice. Looking for the centering pass taken away, and now a chance for the shorthanded goal. Caught outside of the net for second Farquist. Check in the corner. Vanderween got a piece, and now another goal finds the back of the net. Scoring machine right now, GW. They put their 6th goal of the game in, 15-13 left to go in the second period, as they now have a 4-goal advantage.
If you look at the shots on net, they haven't moved for Mason. I mean, they're just not getting any shots. I think they got 1 this period on the power play, and that's not going to cut it. GW is crowding the net. They're putting pucks in the zone. Each of these goals has been high.
Other way, and actually number 7 not on our roster sheet tonight. We'll get you the goal scorer in a second. Number 7 found the back of the net. And looking for another one, that'll be chipped off. Quickly in the slot, shot on goal, knocked away by Fagerquist. Mason chips it up just to clear it. Quickly into the corner, knocked around. He's fighting for control. GW comes up with it. Kept in, good job by Rodriguez to keep it in, keep the pressure on. Taken away by Zepkowski and checked in the open ice by Terhar.
He's been hitting high all night, and they're going to call it every time.
Terhar is going to go back to the box. He's had a big night. He's had, by our count, 3 goals, but he's also had 2 penalties by our count. So he's been very active out there, you could say. believe they're going to credit that last goal to Chris Boyes, number 8, actually number 7, listed in our program as number 8. But no matter who scored it, it goes on the GW tally, and they're up by 4, 6-2 here in the second period, 14:05 left to go. And Ryan, you mentioned those shots on goal. Really haven't changed lately, but pretty even at 13 and 12. GW one more shot, another one, that time by Satkowski, and I think he's a little bit disappointed with himself. Some numbers for Mason. Slot. On backhand, on net, no good. And it will blow it dead. Was Cleary able to make the save. Looked like Talbot bidding for his 3rd goal of the game. Had a good chance, just couldn't find it. You talked about his offensive skills, and really, he has the 2 goals for Mason, really the only guy really with a lot of good looks tonight, correct?
Yeah. He's a smart player, and he doesn't just score goals, he'll set them up too.
I think he was taking coach's advice, really getting 2 shots there, kind of putting one on the net, trying to get that loose puck, just throwing it at the net, and hoping something good happens. Looking for Talbot on the backside, couldn't find him. This one will get across the blue line. And a diving pass by Mandeville. Looks like it might be a chance for a breakaway by GW. And dumped in by Satkowski. Talbot will look to chase. Blue collision there with Kemble of GW. Yossi controlling behind the net, taking his time. Good around. That one off the goaltender, knocked away. Good scoring opportunity. But Mason comes up empty. Quick change for GW. Couple new defensemen on the ice. Mason taking the chance to change as well, going for 3 more defensive players. Remember, Talus Group, a world leader in defense. The Talus Group is setting new standards of excellence in advanced technologies. Find us online at www.talus.com, www.talus.com. Now coming off the bench, breakaway opportunity, and in along with the goal and finding the back of the net. Lee Matthew Malecki jumped right off the bench into the play, ends up scoring to make it 7-2 GW.
And they know better than that. They got to have clock management. You know, 13 seconds left on the power plays when that power play 2 came out. They got to know that he's coming out of the box in 12 seconds.
Lucky able to score. Timeout going to be called by George Mason. If you had to guess, Ryan, what is Coach Hijack saying right now to the Patriots?
I can tell you right now, he's not happy. I've been there a lot of times. But he's probably also going to give them some good instructions that they need to listen to, because they need to change something.
We'll take this quick break for this 10-second station identification. You're watching George Mason Hockey.
Hi, I'm Craig Laughlin. You're watching George Mason Hockey. Go Patriots!
Always good to see the locker, Craig Laughlin, setting his sport. And I tell you what, Ryan, down here, as a guy who really has been around, I've lived in this area of my life, he's kind of Mr. Hockey. Craig Laughlin does the Capitals games with Joe Beninati. Really, those are the people and folks that even aren't the huge hockey fans really enjoy it. I don't know if people know how good of an announcer Joe Beninati really is. As a hockey announcer, he does things for Versus before they were NBC Sports Network. Does a lot of lacrosse as well. But really, how lucky they are to have some very good announcers here, kind of guiding them into the game in a place that hasn't traditionally been one of those hockey hotbeds like a Boston, like a New York, something like that.
We were lucky enough to have him come by before the beginning of the season as well as the junior team. The junior team here, the Potomac Patriots and GMU sat down, and he gave us some nice words of advice, some good luck, and ran the first practice of the season for us.
Locker has his own hockey school, as you see you see the commercials for it all the time on the Capitals games. But a guy who knows hockey and really one of the voices of hockey here in the nation's capital. Shot on goal. That one goes by into the corner. Bach trying to get it out, fight for the puck, and going down. And they're going to have another penalty called. This will send another Patriot. One of the referees goes down on the ice.
He's a former GMU player, I should remind you.
Jake Vanderveen going to go into the box. Don't know exactly if that was boys for GW, but someone went down hard in the boards, but I kind of heard you kind of give a little groan there. Did it look to you maybe that was maybe not enough contact to draw a penalty?
I didn't see how he went down, but all I know is Bach had the puck, and I'm trying to imagine what the call could possibly be when there's a good scoring opportunity. I didn't see anything in the corner, so I really have no idea what happened on that one.
So another power play chance. They call a 5-minute major here. So plenty of scoring chances for GW here, and Mason's got to hold strong here to keep this game in check. Shot on goal, that one knocked away. GW taking time, give and go. Nice defensive play by Biasi. Get the stick in the way, and now Mason will clear it up. And let's quickly get down, as they have a penalty call here. Hard contact, there will be a penalty. Let's get it down to Gabrielle for an update.
Coach Hijack called that timeout to try to refocus his team. He said that they need to play like it in practice, and they need to play for each other. He said that if any team can make a comeback, this team can. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Gabby, and that will be a penalty called on GW. It will be a 2-minute penalty. This one going to be assessed to Sam Powers, the defenseman for the Colonials. So we'll have 4-on-4 hockey here for the next 2 minutes, and of course another 2:11 of that major penalty assessed on Vanderveen. Knocks him off the puck. De Silva, the nice defensive play, making GW reset. Now, obviously, for the Patriots here, you got to be thinking, hey, we need to score a goal here on 4-on-4 to kind of keep these things in check, correct?
You got to look for one here, and hopefully. That first line might be a little bit tired, though. They had initially killed the first minute of that penalty.
The guy who probably can't be happy is Coach Moynihan for the Colonials. Had really 4 minutes left of man advantage hockey and really gives it right back. And now we're going to have a penalty behind the net. And the fans are not happy about this one. Now, Tahar, we want to remind you that you can tweet your thoughts at #GMU Hockey. That's #GMU Hockey. We can thoughts on the game tonight, our broadcast, everything you want to say about GMU and their matchup, and even about our series bringing these games here, as we will have, remember, 2 more as we go through our slate of games. Maryland, that will be coming up in October, and then the Commonwealth Cup game with VCU later on. That'll be in February. With locations all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location. And as always, play ball. Plenty of penalties here. 2 more players go in the box. And really last night, thought the play got a little bit chippy at times. both teams obviously playing really hard, and we saw, we saw the penalties, but even later in the game, I think we did see some physical play out in front of the net. That became an issue, so I don't know, maybe the referee's trying to nip this in the bud right now, but definitely seeing a lot of guys seeing time inside that penalty box.
Yeah.
So the referee's sorting this out. I think they'll put 2 from each side, and actually, so right now, don't even have enough room for all the guys in the penalty box.
I think they gave Talbot a double minor initially on the cross check and then a roughing after the whistle.
So obviously Talbot scored both goals for Masons. That's going to be big for them to see him off the ice. Now they're going to go down to 2 minutes on that. They're still trying to sort this out. It's changing up on the board as we speak. So still 3:32 left in the penalty to Vanderveen. Talbot to be assessed right now by what the scoreboard has, a 2, though as you said earlier, it was a 4-minute penalty. In the box right now for GW, Sam Powers has 1:21 left on his penalty, but also he's joined in the box. 3 players in the box for Mason. But right now what we can tell you, we're looking at 4-on-3 hockey here with GW with the man advantage.
2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Patriots penalty to number 14, Dylan Talbot. 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct and 2 minutes for roughing. Additional penalty will be served by number 5, Scott Bennett. Time of the penalty is 10 minutes and 9 seconds. George Washington penalty to number 21, Jan Campbell.
Okay, so you were right that on Talbot the penalties, one of them are roughing, one of them an unsportsmanlike. So right now we're starting to feel like we're in the middle of the movie Slapshot with all these penalty minutes going out. But again, the most important thing is GW with the man advantage already with the 5-goal lead. Shot whiffed on out in front. I think a stick may have gotten in there as it was going to be another good scoring chance for the Colonials. Bot down looking to fight for the puck. Look the other way. Here's GW. DeCenzo had it. They get it knocked away and Bach back with it. Looks for the long pass. It goes off the back of the skate. And now, penalty going to go on DeCenzo. He's got the hands up, has no idea what he did. Fans not happy about it in front of us. The GW fans making their opinions known. Send the sensor to the box, but GW will still have the 4-on-3 advantage. Now they won't have the 4-on-3 advantage. So are we looking at 3-on-3 hockey here?
Look at that scoreboard over there. It's all penalties.
So 3-on-3 hockey, almost like a game out on the back pond. A lot of open ice and trying to take advantage of it. GW looking for the shot on goal first, one knocked away. Interference going to be called on DeCenzo. That's why he goes into the box. Petkowski with it. Gets it taken away as he comes around the net. A long pass. Shot. Nice save there by Fagerquist. As Rizzo is looking to add to the tally. That one off the goalie's blocker. Quickly around and Mason will reset as Mandeville takes it from behind his blue line. Has to chip it away. They give it back to him. Now GW with the 4-on-3 advantage. One of the penalties expires. Quickly, almost taken away. Nikita with it, they'll dish it off. Dump in by GW as they'll go for the line change. Change up the defenseman. Colonials more than willing to take their time. 7:30 and rolling here in the second period, holding a 5-goal lead on George Mason. 7-2 our score. Played behind the net by Mandeville. Mandeville chips it, other side of the rink, looking for Bach. Mason finds a little bit pace. Nice pass out the boards to himself by Bach. Looking for the scoring chance into the slot, not there. It's going to lead the scoring chance coming out. And again, chance for the score here. That nice save there. Tried for the snatch in top of the net. Couldn't get it to go. And again, a nice save there by Fagerquist. As again, DeCenzo came right off the bench out of the box and had a scoring opportunity. Again, is that just a matter of Mason remembering when the guy's coming out of the box?
I think that was, I don't know, had the penalty expired, I don't know if that was an even straight line change or if but either way, they've got to be aware of that guy.
Second time we've seen that. This time, because of the good goalie work by Fagerquist, doesn't lead to the GW score. Corner. A little bit with it. We'll stop, kick it back out. For Tahar. He has a hat trick tonight. Around the boards. Tahar keeps it in. Gets it back. As it knocked away. Off the pad. Knocks it down by Hobart. Fight in the corner. And get the puck loose. They grind it away. Finally comes out. That was going to go off Carpenter. And then Biasi controls. They'll go ahead and dump it in and change up. With it. There's around net. And everyone into the net. And we see a penalty here. Penalty on Talbot expires. And we see someone else back into the box.
It's been another 15 minutes of play, and Mason's only put up one more shot. They got to get some shots on this power play. Time is just running out.
How would you suggest trying to figure out a way to get a few more shots?
Well, it can start right here with this power play. They got 5 guys on the ice. You know, as long as they take their time, I've seen them rehearse this over and over and over. It doesn't have to be pretty either.
Being chased out of the circle. Mason will win the draw. Vanderbilt keeps it in. Taking his time. Knocked down by a defenseman. Go for the backhand attempt. Lysadkowski couldn't get it. Tried to use that big reach. And now, whistle will blow once again. I think Biasi's going to find himself in the penalty box. So just what you said, they had a chance to go ahead and get a score. Good opportunity. It goes by the wayside. With locations all over D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location. And as always, play ball. George Washington up 7-2 on George Mason, 5:13 and rolling here in the second period. 4-on-4 hockey once again. Mason looking to cut into this deficit. It's big, obviously, to find a goal here somehow. With there, we're going to go ahead and call offsides. And Mason not happy about that. It looked like you up here weren't too happy about it either. I think the referees missed that one.
No, I think Gates, that's a bad call by Gates. He had another foot before the blue line.
So explain why you think that they blew that one for offside.
I think Gates assumed that was going to come out, and he already had to. I don't know. I really don't even know.
After the face-off, Mason ends up with control. But needing some scoring, down 5 goals here in the second period. Shot on ice, that one sticked away by Cleary and net for GW. Shot out front, that'll be grabbed tight to the chest by Cleary, so point blank look, but couldn't find the back of the net. But finally, Mason getting a shot on goal, and not a bad shot there either, but like you said, probably got to do a little bit more of that. Again, 4-on-4 hockey here. Taking the draw, Quigg versus Vanderveen. Mason wants control. Cross ice pass, goes off a skate. Couldn't control that puck as Rudzinski had a chance, couldn't control it. Ended up hitting his skate instead of a stick. That out in front, knocked away. Can they get it? Can they find the net? Cannot. Had an open net there for a second, but couldn't get it to go home. Down, that's going to carry him off Vanderveen. Good break for Mason. Shot around the boards. Check in the corner, loose puck. Chip it down in front of the goal. GW goes for the line change. Chipped out of the defensive zone, and GW will chip it right back in. 3:19 and rolling here in the second period. As all the penalties expire, so we're back out to even strength. Back in, back. Oh, and a big check behind the net as Biasi lays the wood. Like Biasi's going to go for the penalty box, but boy, did he lay a check there.
He cleaned him out, and that's what's going to happen when you come around the net with your head down like that.
Biasi's going to find the penalty box. Not happy about it.
Do it again.
You're right, the GW player came around the back of the net. Really wasn't looking, and he got stopped pretty quickly. We're going to pause quickly for our station break. You're watching George Mason Hockey.
I'm Uncle Rick, and you're watching GMU Ice Hockey on Glory Days Grill TV.
Mason trying to kill off his power play as he returned, and they'll get it out of the zone. And GW have to regroup. Penalty on Biasi. About 90 seconds left in that. That one flies way over the head of Fagerquist. Loose puck around the back of the net. Be chipped out by Rodriguez. Kalski fights for it. Now chipped ahead by Bach. And knock it towards the net. It'll be pushed away by Cleary. Check in the corner, going to be a penalty here. And this is going to be on Ryan, I believe, for GW. It looked like, actually will not be on Ryan. It's going to be on number 5, Powers. Maybe a cross check?
I think they called interference. I'm not sure.
Ryan will go into the sin bin, so we'll be back to 4-on-4 hockey. 19 shots so far for GW in this one, 16 for Mason. We'll go ahead and call the cross check on Powers. Got the stick up. Let's see if Mason can convert. Fight on the boards, and now another open opportunity to Senzo. Just him and the goalie, and he will fight. Stop twice, and the net comes off, and what will they call? They'll say, I believe the net came off first after 2 good saves by Fagerquist. Point blank by DeCenzo and couldn't get it to go home. A few early struggles. I think Fagerquist has played pretty well here.
Yeah, those are 2 big stops on a clear breakaway. That could have almost turned into a 2-on-0 too.
Face off just outside the blue line. And I'll go up and off the glass, up into the netting. So we'll have another face off. I believe this time just into GW's side, just across the red line. The back-to-back face-offs here, 1:29 and rolling in second period. Mason trailing by 5. Looking for a goal here to kind of get a little momentum going into the final period. Senzo looks for the fake out by Jordan. Loses control for a second. Now back, Senzo back into it. Shoot high, that one pushed aside by Fagerquist. And Mason controls, big check in the corner. They're going to be dumped out. And Okita goes back to pick it up for the Colonials. Not too long. Talbot has both goals of the game. A little rough stuff in the corner. And Rizzo played behind the net by Cleary. Bach will keep it in. Took across. Mandeville still in the zone now. GW will get it out. Running down to 20 seconds left. Colonials maybe a chance for one final rush. Going to retrieve it behind the net. Rodriguez, he'll knock it around. 8 seconds, maybe a scoring chance here. Chip back behind the net. Funny bounce. Rodriguez will get to it. And that'll do it here in our second period. 7-2 is our score. And now the 2 teams will go ahead for the intermission. And again, 21 shots on goal for GW. They're converting at a 33% clip. George Mason having the trouble, just 16 shots on goal and just the 2 goals. And taking a look at our second period, really kind of again adding to things here as the early lead for Mason, and really since then, Ryan, they haven't been able to really get much going while GW has kind of controlled the play, at least the scoring part of the play.
I mean, they're getting the shots, they're getting the penalty calls, they're skating. GMU's taking bad penalties after the whistle, extras. I mean, every penalty they take just puts them out of a scoring opportunity. So
And it's been tough, though. You got to say a little bit. Fagerquist has made some good saves so far in this second period after he came in for Mercer pulled early on. Really, if not for him, it may have been even a bigger deficit so far.
he has made some big saves and 21 shots. He came in with, what, he's only landed 3 this period, so he has made some big saves, especially that last breakaway by GW.
Let's get it down to Gabrielle real quick.
Coach, with just over 2 minutes to go in the second period, your team had recorded 16 shots on goal, while George Washington only had 18. That wasn't much of a difference. What do you think your team needs to do to generate more scoring opportunities?
I think we've got to be a little bit more disciplined in terms of our puck movement and supporting the puck carrier when we're not holding the puck ourselves. We've been throwing a lot of blind passes out there, and quite frankly, to George Washington's credit, they've shown an awful lot of energy tonight. They've been very active with their sticks. We just haven't stepped up to the plate, but we got 20 minutes of hockey left to play, and we're planning on taking it to them in the third period.
Yes, 2 tough periods, 1 to go. What are you going to say to your team in the locker room to encourage them, fire them up for the third?
I think the main thing that I want to tell them is to go back to the fact that we know that this team, our team, is capable of playing with anybody in the ACHA. And what we can't do is allow ourselves to be rattled by 40 minutes of bad hockey. We've come back in games before. It's a pretty steep hill to climb, but you know what? You have to take the first goal, and we got to get that one in the net. So that's what we're going to do, is take it 1 goal at a time.
Great, thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Gabrielle, and obviously, Coach, keeping the even keel there, Ryan, but I think he can't be happy with what he said. We even heard him say some of the things he mentioned there about his team, really, GW kind of taking it to them. Didn't see that last night, but really seeing it today and trying to turn some things around. I guess the question's going to be, as he mentioned, besides just kind of getting after it, what more can they really do?
I mean, you just got to cut the score back 1 goal at a time. It's 7-2 now, and it seems like a big lead, but surprisingly, we've been down in games like this and haven't been able to come back. It doesn't happen often, but if they can chip away at the lead little by little, there's a chance with 20 minutes that they could come back.
Now, with that being said, 20 minutes, again, it's a good bit of time. We didn't see it happen at the pro level, but I would assume that really it's going to be imperative. They've got to get an early score here to start the third period.
Yeah, they got to get an early score. Unfortunately, they missed another scoring opportunity on the power play with that last 40 seconds. Not only one, maybe they might need 2 quick ones, and who knows? It can happen. Hopefully, it will. But they got to stop taking these penalties. They've been in the box 3/4 of the game already.
And we've seen some frustration from the guys a little bit. We could tell as the guys were coming off the ice. Felt a little bit of jostling between the 2 teams, a little bit of bumping. Obviously, probably a little bit of trash talk going on there. At this point, if you're Mason, I guess you just got to say, try and tune that out the best you can, because obviously GW has the bragging rights, but again, it does you no good to go ahead and react to that and maybe take a silly penalty.
Yeah, I mean, the trash talking happens on and off the ice, and I mean, they got to be able to kick it out of their head. If not, it's going to carry back onto the ice and just lead to more penalties.
Real quick, want to go ahead and give a quick mention to our sponsor, Glory Days Grill, with locations all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location, and as always, play ball. Of course, we talked about last night's game where George Mason came out, jumped out to the early 3-0 lead, blew a couple leads as they went through, and I think maybe that may be something that they can draw on here, where to be able to say, hey, we scored 3 quick goals coming out of the beginning of the game last night. That's something we can do again, and if they do that, I would think they're going to be right back into the matchup. The question is, though, can they get that pressure? Can they get things going? Are there any things, just besides getting after it, any defensive wrinkles that we may see in the second half, or things like that, or just going to be just playing a little bit tougher?
I think they got to have a more aggressive forecheck. They're letting GW skate right through the neutral zone, and in the third period, GW's probably just going to dump it and wait on them to try to break it out. So they have to pressure them, and if they're going to do a dump and chase in the offensive zone, they have to have the first guy there, first 3 guys there to gain the possession. If not, then I don't know. It's going to be real tough to get back in it.
Now, a guy that's probably going to have to really help out here is going to be Dylan Talbot. He has both goals so far in the contest. Had a goal last night at empty netter. Actually, a guy who's from around here, played locally at Woodbridge High, also part of the Prince William Hockey Club here, also part of the Potomac Panthers as well in his past. So obviously a guy who's used to this area and playing very well, and I would think has to be kind of proud that he's come back here and done this tonight in a place where he's, obviously plays here, but has a little bit of roots here as well. Some other guys, I guess, let's kind of look at the lineups a little bit. So far, you're playing defensemen. How would you kind of rate what they've been able to do so far tonight?
I think that they're shaky right now, and GW's not pressuring them, at anything out of the ordinary. So I think that they need to slow it down. They look like they're nervous with the puck, and they've got to have help from the wingers to help the breakout, because they're just getting turnovers in their own zone.
Now, looking, we mentioned a little bit about this earlier in the broadcast, the fact between these 2 teams, there's the difference in classification. George Washington Division II team, George Mason, a Division III team. Who are some teams that you see playing the George Mason teams that they're kind of usually going after and playing at that Division III level?
GMU.
Actually, before we
You're
get
the
to
club
that, let's go
sports
ahead
coordinator
and
for
let's get it down to Gabrielle Shirley with a special
Okay.
guest.
I'm here with Bob Spousa. He's the club sports coordinator for George Mason University. Bob, what do you specifically do for the men's club ice hockey team?
Well, I help them spend a lot of money. Ice hockey is a pretty expensive sport, and there's a lot of things that go into this that not everybody realizes, like transportation, uniforms, renting ice,
and
training the guys. I try to help them with their logistics.
Second intermission.
A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
As
it is, and I appreciate the enthusiasm that the coach and the players bring to the game. They put in a lot of effort because I know they're practicing and playing at late hours.
Now you're here in attendance tonight. Is this the most rewarding experience, would you say?
What, to come watch a game?
Yes.
Why, of course. I'm actually pretty excited to see how many Mason students came to watch too. That they have the Mason ice hockey has a pretty loyal following. I can't agree with everything they're yelling, but
again, hopefully we'll see a little bit more in the second half as we're able to see what they can do. Again, we talked to Coach Hijack, heard from him earlier on, and I think it'll be key to see some of these guys that can get in the goal ledger. Brian Bach and Dan Jordan, guys that scored goals last night, had 2 big goals. Both of them scored twice. And you talked about the speed those guys bring. Is there a chance we can see a little bit more from them? But when we do that, we'll go ahead and try and get back down to Gabrielle once again.
I have Bob Spousa here with me. He's the club sports coordinator for George Mason University. Bob, can you tell me specifically what you do for the men's club ice hockey team?
Well, one of the biggest things I do is I help them spend their money and their budget and money that they help raise. The university helps them coordinate their travel, their purchase of their uniforms, renting of the ice, training for the players, paying for announcers, webcasting. Yeah, there's a lot of logistics that go behind club sports that a lot of people don't see. You can't just show up at the arena. There's a lot of background work that has to be done.
And you take care of all that?
I help some of the hockey leadership with that. I help with it, yes.
Now, you're here in attendance tonight. Would you say being here, being able to watch your teams is the most rewarding part of your job?
I would say it's one of the most rewarding things to come and see the fruits of the kids' labors and the coaches, to actually watch them play in a game. It's also exciting to watch the amount of student support that we have. And the fact that we're on TV tonight is pretty exciting too. But a lot of effort went into helping this to happen. Mason Ice Hockey has got many loyal supporters, businesses that have stood by the club the last few years. And that's made all the difference in the world. Yeah.
Yes, it's been a great night so far. Let's hope for a good third period.
Well, I think the second period a lot of us would rather forget, but a lot of penalties that I think maybe we could do without. But the officials, I'm sure, are trying to do their best job.
Yes, thank you so much for your time, Bob. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Let's take a quick look at our scoring so far in this one. The 2 goals both scored by Dylan Talbot for George Mason, both scored in the first period. Max Tahar has a hat trick for GW. His goals all coming in the first period as well. Goals also for Matthew Malecki. Chris Boyes credited with a goal, same for Andrew Cecil. So I believe Sam Powers also credited with a goal so far in the contest. That's how we get to our 7-2 score. And again, you mentioned it, Ryan, shots on goal, and George Mason got a few more, but the 21-16 advantage, and maybe not just the advantage, but again, that kind of dead spot in the second half where we just didn't see that shot on goal meter go. And again, if you're not getting shots on goal, very tough to go ahead and score.
I think at the end of the first period, they had 12 shots on that, and it's now 16. So that's not going to help them. You're decreasing your shots by 2/3 of the amount that you're taking. George Washington is just steadily playing hockey, and it's like they're doing with the puck what they please, and I think that GMU is going to have to come out and make hits. That's what I think. But they're going to have to be clean hits, and they're going to have to move the puck.
We're going to go ahead and get that physical thing going. Before we went down to Gabrielle, we were talking about the classifications for the division. Division II, Division III at this level. Some of the teams that Mason would see at the Division III level.
It's going to be mostly local Virginia teams. You'll see Northern Virginia Community College, and then you see Virginia Commonwealth, Christopher Newport, Old Dominion, Radford, JMU, Liberty. So you'll play each of those teams a couple times, 3 times. University of Maryland a couple times. So basically teams that are like central to a little bit southern Virginia.
And obviously, that's got to be a little bit of a fun part of seeing teams at the local level. You know, obviously at some higher levels you maybe travel a little bit more, but here you're playing teams and got to be sometimes folks that you know that may go to the other schools that you played with, you've been around. A lot of these guys, you know, at this level probably see some of these people before. Is there a familiarity when you play those local teams? Maybe some of the guys you either played with or played against at a lower level?
A lot of the guys that play for the schools down there all grew up playing hockey up here, so we all played high school puck together. And actually, Brian Bach's brother plays for Old Dominion, so I mean, all the guys around here know the players, and we know them well. And I guess it makes the games more fun and more competitive. You kind of know what the other guys are capable of, so you kind of mouth off to them a little bit. Mess with them. So
let's take a quick break for a station identification and watching George Mason hockey.
Well, there was this one game sophomore year, right at the end of the season, where all of us are bunching it. The players are in a hotel room, and we're just thinking about the future, the next season. And Steven was an assistant coach then. And we really liked what he was doing for the program. We saw he really cared. He cared as much as we did. So that next day, we told Steve, hey, we would like you to be our coach, which is really odd because players don't normally pick their coach. The university has a say. But we really liked what Steve was doing, and what he's done it's amazing. From just at the beginning with just making the team look like one. We all had the same warm-ups. We all looked the same. We were a team. We didn't all wear our high school gloves or helmets. It was one of the most basic things was all getting black helmets, because like my high school was blue. We had a couple people with red helmets, and it just looked like we weren't even a team. We looked like it really was a club team, and now it doesn't have that atmosphere at all.
Steve Hijack. Is there anything you kind of elaborate on the whole situation of Coach Hijack's hiring here at George Mason?
That's kind of a funny story. It happened before I got here, but I heard it all. It all trickled down to our ears. So I think they were on an away game or something, and in the hotel room, a bunch of the guys got together, and the coach at that time really wasn't. Just say that he wasn't what they were looking for. And they just decided basically that night that they had enough, and when they got back home to Virginia, they basically fired him. Coach Hijack was the assistant at that time, and that's who they really wanted as the coach. They asked him if he would coach, and he said he'd love to, and here we are.
Yeah, and obviously the guys really like your Coach Hijack, playing well for him off to the 2-1 start on the season after the win last night. Of course, this one looked like they'll get some work to do here in the third period if they're going to make this one into a win, not to go on the loss column. Quickly, a couple keys. We talked about it earlier, but a couple keys for you for George Mason. Maybe not to win this one, but at least to get back in striking distance.
Aggressive forecheck. On the dump and chase, they've got to have the first man to the puck, if not the first 2 men to the puck, and they got to put some shots on the boards. Sitting in the third period, going into the third period with 16 shots, not going to cut it.
We'll see if we can get some more shots as we are almost ready to start here in the third period. GW on top of George Mason, 7-2. So glad you could be joining us tonight. Of course, our great sponsors, Glory Days Grill, also Talus Group as well. I want to remind you about all the things those guys bring this hockey to you, and of course have 2 more broadcasts throughout the year, one later in October, also one in April. We are underway. Mason trying to keep that one in, as Mandeville does. We'll see if Mason can pick up the pace a little bit and get things going their way. Up back into the neutral zone. And a whistle. We'll have a stoppage in play. And we'll have a face-off just outside the Mason zone. Bach in against O'Reilly. And Bach won it for a second, and GW able to get back on it. Looking in the corner, Sear has it taken away. A nice play by Bach to get his stick in. Looked like it was going to be an open chance at the net. Then Van der Veen gets on it. Whistled around the boards and then come out. And then we have George Mason have to get back on sides. Dumped in. And this will go as an icing. We'll see the faceoff come back to the Mason zone. Pace of play. Obviously only a minute and 15 seconds in. You like it a little bit better on Mason's part?
I like the intensity. The dump down here was good. They got to have more than one guy on the puck down there.
Mason winning the face-off. Taken away. Tahar's got it. Of course, he already has 3 goals on the night. Looking for a 4th. Across, that one saved by Fagerquist. Nice play. Now Mason will go the other way. Bach with it, 1-on-3, gets it taken away. Now he'll get it back though. Get some of his friends. Shot on goal. That one blockered away by Cleary. Clipped in by Mandeville. Off the Bach. Just into the corner. Gets away from Setkowski. Look for the wraparound. Not there. Cleary able to stay tight to the post. And off to Setkowski. Looking for the scoring chance. Give and go. Just misses. Try to punch it home. Cannot do it. A firework goes in. Setkowski able to score. Loose puck. And that's a situation where we're looking for. Coach Hodgett said put it on the net. That time it works for them.
That's all it takes. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. They're already up one. And that was just a dry goal. He kept the puck in the zone, put the stats on that, and got the rebound.
Setkowski able to cut the deficit down to 4 with 17:45. You mentioned it, this team has come back to deficits like this before. That's a good start to go ahead and do it again. Want to let you know that Talus Group, a world leader in defense, the Talus Group is setting new standards of excellence in advanced technologies. Find us online at www.talusgroup.com.
Patriots goal scored by number 74, Dustin
Setkowski from the Massachusetts area has a nickname of Fridge. The coach told us before the game, really just because he's the biggest guy.
Yeah, and I've seen some really brutal hits that he's laid. You know, even with big guys, they'll try to come in and catch him sleeping. He's just, it does not end well for them.
And you'd have to say at this level, he's got to be the definition of that power forward, a guy that can go ahead and lay those hits out and also play and find a way to score on the offensive end. Mason, again, lost control by Biasi. Coming back to get it, Talbot. He has 2 of the 3 goals on the night for Mason. Had a chance there. Comes off the stick of De Silva. Now GW a chance to score. And losing it, nice defensive play. Sear looked like he might have an hour. A nice hit by Biasi to clear him off the puck. Into the corner, fight for it. Batted around, De Silva will chip it. Looking for Talbot. Hit over on the side boards. Whiff. Cleared down the net. They'll go chase after it. they will go ahead and call the icing. Trying to get that one out. That'll come back in the Mason defensive zone. 22 shots so far in the contest for GW, 18 for Mason. Most important numbers, 2 of them. Third period, 7-3 our score with GW on top, 16:25 left to go, but off to the good start here in the third period with a goal. GW looks to keep it in, they cannot. Biasi will bring it out, takes a check for his troubles. Loose puck. Should be back in. And back out, it'll be controlled by Boys to take it back behind his own net. Pass back around and Boys has it. GW looks to start some offense up. Quick change. Rizzo hops the wall. Up deep into the Mason end. A little bit of a whiff there. But coming back to get it will be Sagan. Now taken away. Right in front of the net. Be grabbed by Bach. He'll take it the other way. Looks for it. Little chip in. I think maybe he hit the side boards and he tried for it. Into the Mason end. Touched up there by Rosinski. Knocked around by Rodriguez. GW able to go ahead and put it back in. Look for the changeup. Shot from the blue line. Look for the no-look pass by Terhar. Didn't connect. And Mason. Nice stick movement in the neutral zone by Jordan. 2-on-2. That one off the defenseman's leg. Jordan goes chasing after the puck. It'll get out of the zone, so Mason will have to get back on sides. Terhar with it for GW. In the middle. Bad pass taken away. Now taken back by the Colonials. Right on net, looking for the centering pass, not there, slap shot, that one's high off the back of the net. Rodriguez will find it, chips it up, get by the defender. Vanderveen going for it, no icing called there. George Washington had to go back and get it. Now quick pass, up the ice, looking for Hobart. Can't get it, now we'll have an icing, bring it back into the George Washington zone. So a little bit cleaner game, I think, at least we can say in the third period, as really they've kind of let the guys skate a little bit and there haven't been any of the silly penalties.
Yep. I think he tweaked the lines a little bit too. That second line was Bach was skating with Biasi on that first shift out, so maybe he's just trying to change something up, get some momentum going here.
13:45 and rolling in the third period. George Washington up on George Mason, 7-3. Check into the boards, and they will go ahead and we'll blow this dead. And really, a lot of times, most of the time we've seen contact in the boards, we've seen a whistle soon after and someone going to the penalty box. Not a lot of leeway on those. With locations all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location, and as always, play ball.
Patriots penalty number 20, Alexander Vanderbilt, 2 minutes for tripping. Time of penalty 6 minutes, 23 seconds.
Mandeville will get the 2-minute penalty for tripping.
2 minutes for tripping.
20 seconds gone in that already. But again, GW has the man advantage. They've been able to really put those away so far in the contest. In front, looking to stuff that one home, couldn't do it. Guini had the stuff attempt. Shift ahead. Talbot will race over and get it off the wall. Penalty called, and I believe this is go on Talbot. And if it is, it'll be a 5-on-3, and that's going to be tough. Actually going to be penalty on both teams. Talbot will go into the box. Berguini will go in as well for GW. Did you get a good look at what happened over there on the boards?
I think it was just off the initial hit, which was clean. They both gave each other a little extra shot there.
Gotcha. So we sort these penalties out. We'll be playing 4-on-4. Actually 5-on-4, excuse me. The man advantage still with George Washington. Nice feedback, goes top shelf. Can't find the side of the net. DeCenzo looking for the goal. Hall, that one's going to be blocked aside. Nice sliding stop by defenseman Rodriguez. Carries it in. Kicks it off, looks for the centering pass, not there. Slap around behind the net. Loose puck. Shot in front, gets through everyone. Mason looking to clear. Brindle couldn't get it through with the backhand. Stuff attempt, not there, cleared out. Colonials have to go chase it in. Bach going to put a little bit of pressure on DeCenzo, who dishes it off to Powers. They'll bring it back out. And the power play gone, back at even strength for both sides. Knocked away by a stick. 5-on-5 hockey with 11:15 and rolling here in the third period. GW with the 7-3 lead on George Mason. That goes off the skate. Carpenter. Shot in front, no good. Loads another one up off the pad. Hit behind the net. Slapper. That ricochets off into the corner. And De Silva will chase it down. Takes a shot for his trouble. This will go down the end of the ice. Knocked away. Stick lost for a second by Gassel, but he gets it back. GW chip it up. Now looking for some numbers. Mason back in the defensive end. That goes off the blocker. Check in front of the stand. You have the onside. Nice stick handling in the open ice. And back around from the back. Ryan. Someone's lost the glove. It's Mandeville. Obviously right now, GW just content to take their time with the 4-goal lead. That'll be gloved by Fagerquist in net, and we'll stop the action at 9:28. With locations all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location, and as always, play ball. Face off won by Biasi. Yes, by Biasi. Taken back by GW. Mason looking to put the pressure on. Into the GW defensive zone. Yep, taken back. Fight along the boards. Puck brought out by Baker. They look in, backhand, can't get it to go. Quickly the other way. Coming down to pick it up will be Baker. So Baker playing at both ends, and he'll go ahead and take the time to reset. Kowski already with a goal this period, looking for another. And tighten this one up. 8:22 and rolling in the third. Mason still down by 4 goals. Sear going to dish that one off. Fan on the shot by O'Reilly. And Bach will take the other way. 2-on-2 with Sapkowski. Puts it on net. That one at the side of the net and not the side. Long outlet pass out to Berguini. And dumped in by GW. Mason off the chase. Brzezinski comes up with it. Have a whistle. Offsides, and want to remind you that Talus Group, a world leader in defense, the Talus Group is setting new standards of excellence in advanced technologies. Find us online at www.talusgroup.com. Face off won by Mason. Brzezinski with it. He'll take it in and peel back. Vanderveen chases it into the corner. Kick back in by Rodriguez. Tried to keep it in, could not. Back in the neutral zone, Bach trying to keep control as he'll circle back. Now he'll carry it in. Shot, that goes off the glove. Tries for the backhand chance, no good. Puck is still loose. Kept in by Rodriguez for a second, now lost. Break in, this one, nice save there. Rebound chance knocked aside as well by Fagerquist. So 2 nice point blank saves by him. Started things off with the breakout, able to stop it as Ryan had a very good chance. This one knocked down by a defenseman and shipped up. And this will be icing, so it'll bring it back into the Mason zone. And after that quick early flurry by Mason to get that goal, really GW's been able to contain them, and obviously part of that's got to be the fact with the 4-goal lead, they can kind of lay back and take their time. Of course, seeing the picture of Coach on the bench right now, what do you think he's thinking over there?
He's not happy. He's probably still telling him that there's time left, which there is. I mean, you saw we started out with 16 shots, you know. 3 shots, we had a goal. Maybe 3 more, have another one.
That'll go off the netting. So we'll switch it up. Set for the face-off down in the Mason end. 6:28 left to go in our contest. In regulation, 7-3. GW on top of George Mason. Out in front. Shot knocked aside again by Fagerquist, who's had some very, very good saves tonight. Quick slapper, no good. And that one will go in. And we'll count that a goal. I believe we'll give that with number 18, Hobart, the captain, one of the 2 captains here on this team. That'll make it 8-3 GW. And 29 shots on goal for the Colonials, just 19 for Mason. And you would say that's got to be part of the story, but really the effective shots haven't exactly been there either.
Right.
Left ahead, Setkowski has a goal already on the night. Fridge puts it off the side of Cleary. Quick the other way goes GW. Okita. stop. He'll throw one on net, almost deflected in. And a rebound, a chance there. Stuff attempt, that one no good. And finally, Fagerquist covers up.
Time to goal, 13 minutes, 50 seconds.
You almost get the fact right now it's kind of that chum in the water feeding frenzy where really GW picking up that pace right now with the game where it is. And at that point, kind of tough to stop, I would think.
It's tough. It's real tough on a goalie too because he wants to keep the puck out of the net, and it's like he can't do it on his own. He needs help from everybody.
Again, GW with the pressure. Nice pass into the slot, not there. It'll be down the ice, and icing will be called. I'll bring it back down to the Mason end. That fan's not happy, slapping the glass a little bit like it at an NHL game. (8-2) our score. GW on top of George Mason. 5:23 left to go here in the third period. Right in the corner, puck comes loose. Two on two. It'll be knocked aside by Rodriguez. Now, whistle will blow. Fans again not happy. Mason, no line change here. It's a penalty, I believe, is going to go.
I think it's the net came off.
Okay. Take a quick break for Station ID. You're watching George Mason hockey. And a quick face-off there, and a quick shot on goal. Fagerquist makes the save, so now that line change that they couldn't get because the net came off the moorings, now back, and Mason will go ahead and switch it up and get some fresh bodies out on the ice. Shot off the side of the net, not there. Again, GW forwards buzzing around the net, and another whistle. Just when we said earlier in this period that they were kind of letting them go, again, we're getting back to whistle every other minute, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I assume as a defenseman, you were the guy who liked the fewest whistles as possible, correct?
Oh, it's frustrating, man. It's going to be just as many penalties tonight as there was last night at this rate.
They're hard, but last night, obviously, GMU ended up on the better side of things. Tonight, it's been GW really GW took advantage of it last night, just as much so as Mason outscored GW 4-1 in even strength times on the ice. But really, GW able to go ahead and stay in with power play goals, a couple of 5-on-3 situations tonight. Really, they've taken advantage of all their chances where Mason's had trouble. Quick give and go, setting up DeCenzo. Top, just inside the blue line. Play for in the corner, back to DeCenzo. Throw one in front of the net. That one goes wide. DeCenzo will chase it down. 3:42 and rolling here in our final period. Of course, GW with the man advantage as icing is called. It'll bring it back down into the GW defensive zone. De Silva taking that last penalty, so he's in the box. Got a minute and 2 seconds left in that. And a few things, obviously, Mason's got to build on, but also a lot of things that I would think for them to work on. Some of the things you've seen so far, some positives so far in tonight's game.
There have been spurts of good things going on. initially in the game, you saw Talbot go for those 2 breaks. A, because they were stringing him nice passes and connecting across the ice, and B, just because they were going to the net, and that was 2 goals right off the bat. After that, it's like they kind of eased off, and now the score is 8-3. The penalties obviously didn't help anybody.
And obviously, George Washington has been able to affect the play with right now a 12-shot on goal advantage. It's helped them as well. Another hand goes up again. Another penalty on Mason. And the ref will blow the whistle. So now, with 11 seconds left in the penalty to De Silva, I believe this is going to be a 5-on-3 for basically 11 seconds here. And that's going to send Mandeville to the box. And I guess if you're going to take a 5-on-3, you kind of want it when there's only 11 seconds you got to kill, but it's still not fun. I would think by the end of really that basically 4 minutes total, you're going to be pretty gassed, correct?
You just got to wonder if these guys ever get tired of playing down a man,
It's been tough. They've done it a lot today and did it a lot yesterday. Of course, things ended up on the better side of things. 5-goal disadvantage right now with just over 2.5 minutes left to go. That was Silva out of the box. Jump back into the action. Still a 5-on-4 for George Washington. Cross. That one knocked aside, shoulder aside by Fagerquist. Stop. Brought down by Okita. Another shot on goal. That one knocked aside. Shot into the bread basket. Loose puck. Not back. Okita can get another shot. That one gets through everybody. And now the glove comes off of Fagerquist, and he looks at the referee. What gives? What do you think he's saying there?
They got to stop. They got to stop the play if his glove comes off. It should be outside of the zone here.
Is he looking for a penalty on that?
No penalty, just a stoppage of play.
Okay. We'll be outside, just outside the blue line. 1:54 left. UW content to bring it back on their own defensive end. Tahar gives it off. Of course, he had the 3 early goals that turned it from the early Mason advantage over to the GW advantage. Chipped in by Jordan. Fought for behind the net. Biasi loses control. Long numbers there. Behind the back pass. Doesn't connect. Biasi gets it. 1 minute left to go in regulation. Cecil moves it back. Senzo will take his time, still with the man advantage, and now Mandeville will come out of the box. Now Mason with numbers, 4-on-2. And now a penalty going to be called, and the clock's still running as they finally stop it. And I believe the nice play there by Baker to get it towards the net draws the tripping penalty. We'll see if they put some more time back in the clock because obviously a little bit ran off, but I think it's going to be Cecil finding a seat in the box. For the face-off in the George Washington defensive zone. Remember, folks, with locations all over D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, Glory Days Grill is the area's destination for good food, fun, and sports. Glory Days Grill is a proud sponsor of local sports and Mason Ice Hockey. Check www.glorydaysgrill.com to find your nearest Glory Days Grill location. And as always, play ball. Under 20 seconds left to go here. Mason looking for one more run. Now the other way. GW chasing it down. And the 5 seconds remaining. As Rosinski comes up with it. And that will do it from here at the Prince William Ice Center. The night after a win over GW George Mason falls 8-3 to the Colonials. And really a game that they got off to the really good start, and then after that kind of George Washington really able to take it to George Mason this one, and not exactly the performance that Mason wants, but I think maybe they just ran into a team, at least on this night, was better than they were.
Yeah, it did start out well, and it looked like Mason just after, the first 6-7 minutes of the game just went flat and could never get it back.
Now the handshake line out at center ice as both teams showing the respect for each other after really splitting this 2-game set. And that's the good thing if you're George Mason. You have to say to yourself, hey, we got the one on their ice last night. They get the one on our ice. It's okay. And really, from talking to Coach Hajek, really proud of the guys for the win over a team that really at the Division II is at a higher level. And I think he said before the game in his comments, this was important because really a test series, if you will, against a higher caliber opponent. And I would say that really, I think you have to say they came out of it pretty well considering they do get the win last night, even if tonight didn't go their way. It's got to be a confidence builder to say, hey, we can play with one of these higher level teams.
Yeah, it definitely helps, and I'm glad that they were able to take one of the two. It's definitely better than losing both. And I think that in the long run, it's definitely going to help them this season. It wasn't a league game, so it's still an ACHA game, and they're gonna have to go back and take a look at what they did. I mean, the coach is obviously gonna let them know how many penalties they took, and I don't know, but I think the split is a good confidence builder for them.
And you talk about it, I think that's going to be the key. And I would think if you're Coach Hajek, that's got to be a good message. And the fact that it's, you can say to the guys, hey, it's not our skill level, it's not our talent, it's the fact that we're just taking some not very smart penalties, and that's going to kill us. That's something that's correctable, as opposed to just saying, hey, we're just not talented enough. Hey, we show we can play with these guys. If we are smart, if we're not smart, things like this can happen to us.
I definitely think they lost their cool tonight, and discipline definitely showed, and it obviously wasn't in their favor, taking some bad penalties, and hopefully they'll learn from the game and not make those mistakes again. I know we did have a problem with that last season, and I know Coach has been working with the players, but we'll see.
And I think we have to go ahead and look at some of the positives of this one. Dylan Talbot had the really good start to the game and the 2 quick goals, and a guy that has done some good things. And you talked about it, the rookie runner-up for Rookie of the Year last year, kind of showing tonight why he is one of those guys can consider one of the better players around.
Yeah, he is good, and he will score, and he actually assisted on the one, I think, to Sekowski, so that's 3 points on the night. And then again, he took 2 or 3 penalties, so it's like, every time he takes a penalty, that's taking him 6 minutes that he wasn't able to be on the ice for.
Yeah, and obviously they'd love to have him out there because he showed what he can do on the offensive end. I think the other thing we really got to look at, besides the penalties, the shots on goal, and you mentioned that a little bit, 34-20 in GW's advantage. And I think even for the hockey neophytes know that if you're not shooting the puck as much as the other team, it's going to be very tough for you to get a win, correct?
Yep, and they entered the first period with 13 shots, and at the end of the game it's 20, so it's like you're only putting 7 shots on in 2 periods. It's not really going to cut it.
And looking at in net, we talk about shots, and I think and Dean Mercer obviously had a rough night starting off, gave up the 4 goals in the first period, but Keith Bakerquist came on and played pretty respectably, kind of came off of last night's game. Didn't give up too many loose pucks. I think that was important for him, but anything he could kind of see, he was going ahead and getting stops on, and obviously as a defenseman, that's got to be a confidence booster and a guy like that to say, hey, if he's getting a look at it, he's more than likely going to stop it.
Yeah, and I think the problem at first was that Dean was not getting that help out front, so and the goals came quick on Dean, so it's like once it was in his head, it was just time to go, I think.
And Fagerquist came on, obviously, and able to go ahead and finish the game off. Got to talk about Justin Sadkowski, had the big goal and the big man able to score, and showed some good skill there. We talked about he's got the big size, and that's kind of what he's known for. But able to go ahead and have a nice, pretty goal there.
Yeah, he. I mean, that was what 2.5 minutes into the first, and that was off a good shift. They had it in the zone the whole time. Took some shots on the net, and Sadkowski put the rebound right in.
Let's go ahead and get it down to Gabby with a special guest.
Coach, you won last night against George Washington, lost tonight. What do you want your players to take away from this split experience?
Well, I think the main thing is that you have to show up for every game, and I don't think we did as good a job tonight showing up like we did last night. Props to George Washington. They showed an awful lot of energy tonight. But this is why you play preseason. This is a great opportunity for us to play up against a Division II team, learn some lessons. And I think the main thing we learned tonight is we have to be disciplined throughout the game, and we have to be ready on the first shift and every shift throughout the game. So there's lessons to take away from this.
What improvements do you hope your team makes for the next game?
Well, certainly discipline is going to be an issue in terms of staying out of the penalty box. We took way too many penalties tonight, and we've got to go back to basics. I think the main thing that we really need to do is just focus on our passing game, support the puck carrier, and movement off the puck. So we'll be practicing that this week during practice. We'll also probably work a little bit on a little bit of a trap system for next weekend.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Gabrielle. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap our broadcast up again. Real quick before we do that, though, we got to talk about Coach's comments. We talked about the discipline, and I think that was kind of obvious to both of us up here that, again, the penalties, that's the thing that's really going to kill them. And it seems to me, and obviously you know better than I do because you played for the man, that's going to be a big point of emphasis that we can practice is let's stay out of that box.
Yeah, and the team's going to skate for it, and they all know it too, and they're not going to bitch about it. And like you said, the first thing he said out of his mouth was discipline, and anyone watching could see, probably 12, 13 penalties tonight is not going to cut it. So we'll have to go back and work on that this week.
And we'll see what they can do. Of course, we will see these guys again on our broadcast coming up in October when they take on Maryland. Of course, so many more games. Go to their website to find out when exactly George Mason able to play and follow this team after they play some very good hockey, very fun hockey again last night. A very good game. Got a lot of people we got to thank. Of course, want to thank my partner, Ryan. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You're not a newbie anymore when it comes to this broadcast and stuff. Also want to thank Gabrielle Shirley, our on-ice reporter. Very good job by her, as well as our executive producer, BJ Kubarillis, and everyone. Again, our final score here from the Prince William Ice Center. George Mason takes one on the chin. They fall to GW 8-3. Good night, everybody.